Hi, today I'm going to show you how to change a wired detector. It may be you want to change it or take one down for decorating. That's entirely up to you. I'm just going to show you how it's done and a few tips to remember. The first thing to note is unless you have the engineer's code, when you open up the detector, the alarm should go off. To silence it with most alarms, you put in your number. Anything else is entirely up to you. Let's get started. Open the detector. As you can hear, the alarm's gone off. I'll put my number in to silence it. There we go. So long as you don't panic, you really have not a lot to worry about. The next thing you should do is to get your mobile phone and take a picture of the connections. It's very, very important. Also make sure that it's in focus. If you're not sure, take another picture. As you can see, I've now zoomed in. Most alarm detectors will have a 6-core cable. The colours are yellow, blue, green, white, black, red. But there is no definitive way as to which colour goes to where. It depends upon how whoever installed your alarm, what colours they chose to use. I'll now point out the colours and show you what they're doing in this case. As I said, it's probably different with yours. We have yellow and blue here that are connected to the tamper switch. That's so the alarm knows that the cover has been removed. Obviously it depends upon your detector as to where the terminals are, but these two are marked as AT, anti-tamper. The next two we have are green and white. They are marked NC, normally closed. That's the alarm pair. Then next to it we have black and red. This is the 12 volts that powers up the detector. Normally you'd unscrew the wires and pull them out, but unfortunately that can lead to a problem, particularly when you're putting it back, and also if you should forget or lose your picture that you've taken of where the terminals are. What I suggest you do is with a pair of side cutters you actually cut the wires off one at a time. Cut them off just above the terminals. Do make sure you do them one at a time, not two. Two reasons for doing this. One is that, as you see, I have a coloured piece of wire sitting in each terminal, so I know where the wires are going to go when I come to put it back. The other thing is that although this is only 12 volts, it's perfectly safe, but if the positive touches the negative, it blows the fuse in the panel, which causes you more grief. But by cutting the wires, they can't touch. In this scenario, we're going to take the detector down, do some wallpapering, and then a day or two later, put the detector back. As you can see, the detector is now removed. In this condition, your alarm will not work simply because there is no detector and the alarm knows this. What I'm going to do is to reconnect the wires as if the detector was still there. Here we are. As you can see, I've used a triple click connector. It's not a Wago connector, it is similar. Unlike Wagos, as you see, this one has 3 different coloured levers. That's because each colour is not connected to the next colour. They are 3 single ones. You can of course use connector block if you have some. You will also notice I've got the green and white in one terminal, the yellow and blue in another terminal, but the red is on its own and the black is hanging in mid-air. There's a reason for that. As we said earlier, the yellow and blue and the green and white are connected to alarm and tamper respectively. But the red and black are power. The red and black should never touch each other. But by isolating the red, it can't touch anything either. The reason I have green and white together and yellow and blue together is because that is how it was in the detector. You might have yellow and white and green and blue, or any similar combination. It's entirely up to the person that installed it. But it's okay because you don't have to worry because you took a picture, didn't you? I shall now put the detector back after I've done the wall decorating. Usually when I'm putting a detector back, I twist the wires all round in the same direction. However, one thing I do is, as you see here, the red, which in my case is positive, I've held it further back. There's a slight loop there. The reason is so that it cannot touch the ends of the wires here. Therefore the fuse will not be blown. Now I have to put the PCB in and reconnect the wires. Although I suggested you take a picture, I find that cutting the wires off is also just as good. But if you lose one, you've still got the other. As you can see, I've got a small piece of each wire still left, so I know exactly where the wires go. It is best to put them back in exactly the same terminals they came from. I shall do that now. As you can see, the blue and yellow are in. Now for the green and white. As you see, the green and white are in. However, when it comes to the power wires, in my case red and black, I always recommend you put the positive in first. As I said, I always recommend you do the positive first. All detectors are labelled as to which terminal does what. So you don't have to think, well, is my positive green, is it the blue one, whatever. Because if you look carefully, you can actually see above each terminal is, as I said when we first started, it is labelled as to what it is. If you look to the right of the black wire, you can actually see a negative sign. And likewise to the right of the red wire, in my case, you can see a positive sign. I'm now going to connect the black. There we go, as you can see. All connected, ready to go. Actually, no, there's one more thing we should do before we put the cover on. And that is give each wire in turn a little tug to see does it come out. If it comes out, obviously you haven't done it right. The thing is that it will come out or become loose and pop out in the middle of the night when the alarm is set and you'll get a false alarm. So always make sure before you put the cover on that all the wires do not come out when you give them all a tug in turn. Now all I have to do is put the cover back on. It's all finished. I've reset my panel. I can't help reset yours because there are thousands of panels out there and I don't know which one you've got. If you have any other questions I can try and answer, but again it depends upon what detector you've got and how whoever wired it, what colours they chose to use. But as always, thanks for watching. If you like what you've seen, please click the thumbs up button. If you'd like to be notified when I upload new videos, please click the bell icon. And if you'd like to help support the channel, please buy me a coffee.